Yo, what is going on, you guys? It's your boy King Sanders here. We are back with another day of sports betting. This is going to be for Thursday, January 5th slate of NBA action. We only have 4 games on the slate, and unfortunately, we've only got about half the lines up, so we don't really have props for like 2 of the games. So I'm going to go ahead and talk about one prop that I do have for sure. It's going to be our kill shot play of the day. Then I do have an over and an under, or an over-under. And then I do also have a spread pick. So a little bit different here today, which might kind of be nice because we've been on an ice cold streak. But we pretty much only have one player prop. Of course, I'll be looking to add some. So if I do end up adding another prop, as always, it will be in the pinned comment section and on my Twitter. So make sure you guys do check out both of those spots, just in case if you do want one extra play. But without any further ado, let's go ahead and dive into it. We are on the road to 11,000 subscribers. We're just about halfway between 10,000 and 11,000. So if you guys are new, make sure that you guys do like, comment, subscribe. Turn on that notification bell so you guys know whenever I post. Like I said, on the road to 11,000, make sure you're subbed. Next, I did just want to go ahead and give a quick shout out here to all of our members here on the channel. Thank you guys so much for everything that you guys do. And thank you guys so much for giving such a small channel such a big chance, as I always say. It truly does mean the absolute world to me. So much more than you guys will ever know. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and dive into a quick recap as of yesterday. As much as I would love to ignore it, we had an absolutely abysmal day. There's just no way around it. We had an absolutely atrocious day.
What an idiot! Oh, what a loser!
So let's go ahead and talk about it. We had Quentin Grimes over 19.5 PRAs versus the Spurs. Finishes with just 17, so he finishes just shy of this number. And I have in my little notes here, I was trying to decide between 19.5 PRAs or over 13.5 points. If you took the points, it would have cashed, but if you took the PRAs like I did, unfortunately, he finishes just short. Very tough. And then I did also have Bojan Bogdanovic under 21.5 points versus Golden State. Apparently, this was just a bad play. Golden State Warriors just did not decide that they wanted to play defense today. Bogdanovic was getting every look that he wanted, and he was just balling. He was absolutely balling out. Then we did end up having Wendell Carter Jr. over 16.5 points versus OKC. He ends up with 13 points, so just a couple points shy of this, just 2 buckets shy at the end of the day. And I put in my notes here, or over 25.5 points plus rebounds. If I take that second prop, it ends up being a winner. It's one of those things. It was a day that I just made the wrong reads. Overall, the reads themselves were right. I mean, Quentin Grimes still hit his over in points. Wendell Carter Jr. still had a good day on both the glass and in scoring, but it's just a matter of how you combo the stats up, So it was just kind of a tough beat. The other lean that I had, of course, I had Kevin Durant over 28.5, ends up dropping 44. So that one was tough too. So we just overall have had a really rough stretch here. Hopefully we can go ahead and turn it around though. I mean, at this point, you really can't get any worse. So if you guys want, just go ahead and fade me on every single play. It might end up working out for you. But without any further ado, let's go ahead and dive into today's plays. So for our first official play of the day, our King's Kill Shot play of the day, we are going to be taking Jason Tatum over 29.5 points here versus the Dallas Mavericks, minus 125 odds. Now, I like this for a couple different reasons, but the main one being some of the Mavericks wing defenders, some of their best ones are going to be out. First one, Dorian Finney-Smith, obviously a very, very good defender here for the Dallas Mavericks. And another one, Green. I really like that kid. I think that he's a very good player. And he's actually pretty good on the defensive end of things. So you're taking out 2 positive defenders here for the Dallas Mavericks, going against Jason Tatum, who is literally one of the best scorers in all of basketball. He's a very good player, and you're taking out 2 of your best defenders that have a chance at stopping him. Sign me up for it. He has also gone over in 2 out of his last 3 games here versus Dallas, and this is a pretty big game. This is obviously Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, of course, versus Luka Doncic. And Luka Doncic, as we all know, has been on an absolute tear. But Jason Tatum is going to have to try to combat that somehow. I think that he is going to have to show up for this game, and I think that he will. Also, forwards versus Dallas have actually seen a little bit of success here recently. Keldon Johnson the other night dropped 30. Quentin Grimes, he ended up dropping 33. I wish he would have done that tonight, but, it is what it is. He had 33, LeBron had 38, and Jabari Smith Jr. even had 24. He's not super known for his scoring. He hasn't had really very many breakout games. but he even had a really good game against them. So Jason Tatum, of course, a tremendous scoring caliber player. I think that he can go ahead and get it done for us. And Dallas, despite them being a pretty good defensive team, in their last 3 games, they've actually dropped all the way down to 19th in defensive efficiency when they were like very close to the top 10 or right in the top 10. I don't remember exactly. I didn't write it down. But they were a much better defender before the last 3 games, and they haven't had great competition in the last 3 games between the Rockets twice and the Spurs. So you're looking at both those teams, and they didn't play good defense against them. They really can't let that happen against the Boston Celtics. So that is going to be our first play of the day. I really like this one. Jason Tatum over 29.5 points here versus the Mavs at minus 125 odds. Now for our second official play of the day, we are going to be taking the Jazz and the Rockets over 232 points at minus 110 odds. Now I like this for a couple different reasons. First one is Utah is 12-9 to the over on the road this year. So they've been a pretty good team at consistently going over on the road. I think it's a really good spot. And Houston, following a loss, which they did end up just having here recently to the Pelicans, they are 15-12 to the over. So they have been successful here to the over the course of the past of the season after a loss, which they've had plenty of those. So with that being said, there's a lot of sample size here, but a lot of times after a loss, they like to bounce back and score a lot of points. So that's what I do like about it. Also, Utah, after an L, which they are currently on a 5-game losing streak, they are 11-9 to the over. So both these teams are coming off of big losses. Both these teams are in bounce-back spots. I think that we should see a lot of offense between these two teams, and both their defenses aren't necessarily tremendous. So I think that this is going to be a very high-scoring game. Utah is actually still one of the best offenses in all of basketball. They are 4th in points per game, and Utah does allow the 8th most points per game to opposing teams over the course of the season, and they allow the 7th most in the last 3. So they have kind of let up just a little bit in the last 3 as well, and I think that we can see that again. Utah is obviously coming off, Houston is coming off of the second leg of a back-to-back, may not have a great defensive outlook out there. They're coming off of a tough game, ended up losing it. So I just do think this is a really good spot here to be taking an over between these two teams. I don't see a lot of defense, and I see a lot of offense being played. So hopefully it does end up working out for us. We're going to be riding with it for our second official play of the day. Jazz and the Rockets over 232 at minus 110 odds. Now for our third official play of the day and final play as of right now, like I said, I'll probably be adding one, but we're going to be taking the Magic +6 spread here versus the Grizzlies minus 110 odds. Now I know the Grizzlies are fantastic. I love the Grizzlies, one of my favorite teams to watch in all of basketball. But this line just really doesn't make sense. I mean, I think we can both agree on that. There's no reason that the Magic should only be 6-point underdogs here to the Memphis Grizzlies. There's just something off about it. And there are a couple stats to back it up, and I'll get into those in just a minute. But realistically, this line should be at least 8.5, maybe even 9. And this is just way too close. I think that the books are trying to tell us that this is going to be happening. They're trying to get you to bet on the Grizzlies, and I'm just not going to really fall for it. Hopefully it ends up working out for us, but here's some stats too. Orlando is 4-2 against the spread on the second leg of a back-to-back, which they did end up having last game. As of yesterday, they were playing against the Thunder, so they are coming on that second leg of a back-to-back versus the Memphis Grizzlies here. And Memphis is also 6-12-1 against the spread on the road this year. They haven't been a very good road team. They've been really, really good at home, but not necessarily as great on the road. So I think that this is a pretty good spot to be taking a Magic team as an underdog here at home. Also, Orlando is 10-2-1 against the spread after a win, which they did end up having versus OKC last game. I think they won by like 12 or something along those lines. I could be off on that number, I'm not sure, but regardless, I do know that they ended up winning versus OKC, and they are 10-2-1 against the spread after a win. That is the best record in all of basketball, so sign me up for that one. I think it's a good spot, and a lot of these players are going to be coming back from their suspensions and stuff like that, and some people are getting over injuries. So, for example, Franz Wagner is going to be back in this one. Also, Jalen Suggs is listed as questionable. He was ruled out of yesterday's contest, and I think that was to kind of prepare him for this one. I'm not sure for sure, but I do think it's a pretty good spot. And Bull is also listed as questionable, ruled out of yesterday's. I think he does suit up for this one. And 86% of the money right now is on Memphis. and the line has not moved. It opened at 6. It's staying at 6. I'm just saying this seems like a trap, and I really do like it here for our third official play of the day. Magic +6 here versus the Grizzlies at -110 odds. Now, for our consensus play of the day, we're going to be going to the game of the night. We're going to the Celtics and the Mavericks. Currently, the Mavericks are 2-point underdogs. The Celtics are pretty much healthy besides Gallinari. He is still dealing with that injury. And the Mavericks, they do have a couple injuries here. Obviously, they do have Maxi Kleber still out. They still have Dorian Finney-Smith out. And they still have Josh Green out. Those are pretty key injuries, to be completely honest. So as of right now, the Celtics are 2-point favorites. So from left to right, we do have Brady. Brady's going to be taking Boston. We have Mitch. Mitch is going to be taking the Dallas Mavericks. We have Ryan. Ryan's going to be taking the Mavericks. And we have, Boston, excuse me. Ryan's taking Boston. I messed that up. Ryan's taking Boston. And then we do also have Seth. Seth is going to be on Dallas. So once again, leaves it up to me. And I am personally going to be rocking with Boston. I know that they have struggled here recently. I get it. And I know that Luka Doncic has been on a tear. I get that. But if there's going to be any team in the NBA that's going to be able to semi-stop Luka or at least outscore him and make it tough on him, it's going to be the Boston Celtics. They have so many different bodies they can throw on him. They could throw Tatum on him. They could throw Jaylen Brown on him. They could even throw Marcus Smart to try to get into his head a little bit. There's just so many different bodies that they could throw out. Even a guy like Grant Williams, you could even throw him in off the bench and just see kind of what they're working with there. So they have so many different pieces that they could put on Luka Doncic to hopefully throw him off just a little bit and make some of the other scorers shoot. And I do think that this is a pretty good spot. I think that Boston does end up getting it done. So that's going to be the consensus play of the day. 3 cappers to 2, Boston -2. So that is going to do it for today's video. If you guys did enjoy, make sure you guys do like, comment, subscribe, turn on that notification bell so you guys know whenever I post. Like I said, we are on the road to 11,000 subscribers, so if you guys are new, make sure that you guys are subbed. But that's going to do it for me. This is King Standard signing out. Peace.